Welcome, everybody, to the February 24th meeting of the Deerfield Energy Conservation Committee. I'm David Gilbert Keith, the chair. We have present M.A. Swedland, Bruce Dolan, Ryan Kingston, who are members, and we're being visited by Mark Rubinski from DOER and Julie Chalfant from the Finance Committee, or if that's what you're representing today. And she's nodding, yes. So our first order of business, I guess, is to look over the minutes from the last two meetings. And I have already told you I'm happy with them, except for the two corrections I made. And Lori has also offered corrections on the misspelling of Ryan to correct that and the other things I mentioned. So take a sec to look over the minutes and somebody move whether you like them or not.
I move to approve the minutes
As amended, perhaps.
as amended.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
I see MA's hand and Bruce said yes. So is that for both minutes? I didn't clarify. There's the January and December minutes.
I can't get, here's the situation.
Lori is texting me, says, is the meeting started? It says waiting for the host.
See this? It's in my hearing aids. So maybe I just shut this off completely.
I'm texting Lori
You're still out?
to try again.
I'll try. I'm trying this.
Make sure that Lori's using the TA and not the ATA Zoom account, the one that has 620 in it and not the one that has 911, because there's another meeting going on, or it will be going on. We have two town Zoom accounts. She has to be in the right one.
I'll just send her the link real quick here, I hope. For everybody who's waiting, we're also standing by to have Power Options people give a presentation. Oops.
What do you want?
I see him.
There she is.
Oh, good. She's in. Okay.
This, the problem is that it's looking for my device. Shut everything down. This is down. I don't know how to do that.
Wait a minute. You saw Lori?
Yes, she's here.
Oh, good. There's Lori. Yep. Hi, Lori.
Hi, I guess I copied the wrong link into my calendar.
And may we implore you to take minutes again?
Yep.
Thank you so much. We just approved your last two sets.
Oh, good.
And now we're ready for Power Options to join. I guess we're 3 minutes ahead of schedule here. I told them 4:10.
So it's January 22nd and December 15th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Nobody noticed that I put the wrong date.
Aha. Good thing you did.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh, not 2025. Okay, great.
Well, December was 25.
Yeah, but January, I had.
Oh, yeah.
I think I named it that way, but I didn't have it in the minutes.
Yeah.
So Pat, I should send you the ones with the corrections, right?
Yes,
Correct.
but I did correct the date for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there were a few other typos.
Okay. Yeah, just send them to me.
Okay.
Well, in the meantime,
I was reading them for content.
oh, good.
Thank you.
Um,
Is Ryan here?
Yes,
Okay, because Ryan had some good content updates.
Yeah, but I thought you fixed those. Thanks, Lori.
Thanks for, yeah, I didn't see it the first time, so I'm glad you noticed. I wasn't ignoring you.
and Ryan, did you just send Walter Gray a link or I saw
Yeah,
some
yeah,
email.
he said he was going to be on at 4:10. So
Great.
sorry to be off camera. I'm dealing with a crying baby. So
Oh. Well, let's all ask questions of Ryan while we wait. Anyway, did anybody get a chance to look over my potential
Oh, shoot.
thing for the town meeting?
I didn't.
Good. All right. Well, we don't need to talk about it today.
that's good.
Yeah.
You gave us homework.
I did give you homework, and Ryan asked
I
me.
read the minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was well done.
It's better than I did in school. I did more than half of my homework.
Mhm.
I guess we just have to wait.
4:10. It's 4:10 now.
Power options here.
Oh, okay. And
Half of us is here, so I can go
Oh,
ahead.
there. Hello.
Yes. Yeah, Walter is joining soon, I'm sure, but I can go ahead and introduce myself while we wait for him.
Yes, please.
There he is. But hi everybody, my name is Farah Gillette. I'm an alternative fuels analyst at Power Options. I have a fun presentation to give you all today, but I support our solar program as well as our EV charging program at Power Options.
Great.
And then Walter, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you, and thanks for the invite, Ryan. Where's Ryan? Sorry, I was a couple minutes late, but pleasure to be here. And yeah, Fair is going to be giving a presentation. I'm program director for alternative fuels, so that encompasses solar and EV charging currently, plus a couple miscellaneous projects. But I'll let Fair take it away.
Great. I think I need to screen share, but so I just sent a request to be able to screen share.
We do have someone who's our Zoom guru here, Pat Martin. Pat, can you give her a screen share capability?
Actually, I think it's working now.
Oh,
It
good.
should be.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I can.
Okay.
Oh, there it's okay. There it is. Okay.
Can everybody see?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I have a presentation today for the Deerfield Energy Conservation Committee and for Power Options. And to go over a little agenda, I'll go over who Power Options is, go over an overview of our solar program, a little Power Purchase Agreement 101, and then considering the differences between PPAs and ownership models for solar projects, what to consider when procuring a solar project, how to get started with the solar project, and then also going over some of our offerings and the overview of our energy sustainability and analytics team, which does a lot of our decarbonization efforts at Power Options. So, getting started, who is Power Options? Power Options is a nonprofit serving other nonprofits and public entities, and Power Options has been a trusted advisor for hundreds of municipalities across New England for over 25 years. And with the mission to reduce the cost, carbon, and complexity of energy for our members, we structure our solutions within budget and planning cycles and work with you to mobilize incentives and grants to make the process more streamlined, easier, cost-effective, and just feel that you have the support you need throughout the process of doing a project with Power Options. We also advise on our energy projects with our competitively procured vendors so that you don't have to go out to RFP yourself, which I'll get into a little bit later. So taking it back to the beginning a bit, Power Options was formed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in 1998 when the energy markets were deregulated and aggregated to aggregate the buying power of the state's health and education facilities. But since then, we've become an independent nonprofit that serves other nonprofits and public entities in Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and recently Maine. And we have grown to become the largest buying consortium in New England that currently serves over 830 members. And we leverage the collective buying power of our membership base to secure advantageous energy programs that will serve members of any size and circumstance to make sure that all of our members feel supported and that their needs are being fulfilled as a member of Power Options. And this is all possible because Power Options operates under a Massachusetts enabling statute, MGL Chapter 164, Section 137, and this allows our members to use our energy programs without having to go out for their own competitive bid process because we've conducted it on your behalf, which just ends up saving you a lot of time and money, and who doesn't love that? So going over our solar program specifically, for our solar program, it operates in the exact same way that I just described. We went out to bid for RFP with the leverage of our buying strength from our large membership base. And the deal is that the winner of our RFP, the vendors we select, get exclusivity to work with the members under our program. And this is appealing to them, and why vendors want to bid into this is because since we operate under this enabling statute that allows our members to participate in our programs without having to go out for RFP, the vendors can then transact with our members outside of any RFP process, which just makes it cheaper, easier, more streamlined for everybody involved, and just makes it a more enjoyable process altogether.
That's kind of huge.
Yeah.
And I just want to say RFP is request for proposals. What does RFP stand for?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
proposals. Yes.
So the bidding process, right?
Yeah, the bidding
Exactly.
process. So because we do that on your behalf and we use the collective buying power of our membership base to secure trusted vendors that will serve our membership needs. And that is possible through the enabling statute that Power Options operates under, which is great. Yeah.
Now, I just want to clarify, because this is really huge.
Yeah.
Do
We
you
never heard
do
of this
that on
before.
our behalf, or do we skip the whole process and not have to lose months to doing an RFP?
It's not necessarily that you're just skipping the process and not doing an RFP. You aren't conducting it yourself. We
Yeah.
have done it for you, so you can just jump to the front of the line basically and use the RFP that we have already conducted. So it's
But
like
you
you're still
still-
you still technically have that part
Yeah.
satisfied, but we have just done it for you, and you can just
Okay.
start right away.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And then, so since we have our large membership base of over 830 members, we have great leverage when it comes to negotiating pricing and contract terms with these vendors that we've selected through our RFP process. One aspect of this is pre-negotiated transparent pricing. So under our solar program, we come up with agreed upon pricing for building costs as well as modest internal rate of returns for our vendors to adhere to. And when our vendors come to us with proposing a project and the costs associated with it, they show us exactly how they came up with that pricing and making sure it checks out with everything and complies with our program rules that were agreed upon in the beginning to make sure that everything looks good and that you guys are getting the solar project that you were promised. And in addition to that, there's pre-negotiated terms and conditions in our contract templates that are used in our program that are both in the member and vendor's best interest to just make it a great project overall for everybody. In addition to these aspects that are negotiated and the RFP easiness in this program, you get Power Options in the middle to make sure that everything is moving as it should, complying with the terms of our procurement, and just there as a general advisor and support system to help out with the process and to make sure that your needs are being fulfilled, your questions are being answered, and that the vendor is handling the project as you think it should be. So always have us as a trusted advisor throughout the process. So under this program, the solar and storage program, we can do on-site projects, which are PPAs and purchase projects, as well as off-site projects where you would subscribe to a remotely located solar project and get credits. And you have the option of adding on battery storage as well. So going into a deeper look of how a PPA is structured and why it's so commonly used among our members and specifically municipalities. Under a PPA, the developer is responsible for all the really tricky, not fun stuff like siting, permitting, engineering, interconnection, getting the equipment, construction, turning it on, and like ongoing operations and maintenance of the project. That's all on the developer side of things. And in addition to that, the developer, in this case, also financier, owns the system during the contract term, which is typically around 20 years. But then, as part of the contract, you have the option to either have the system taken down by the vendor at the end of the term, or you can purchase the project outright. So you can continue to own the project and not take it down. And then the only obligation for you as the host under this PPA agreement is that you agree to simply just purchase the electricity produced at a fixed rate, so it doesn't change over the term, the 20-year term. And this is what is known as the PPA rate. So that's the rate that would be on a per kilowatt hour basis that you would purchase the electricity at. And there's many components that goes into determining the PPA rate, which I will go into. So one of them is construction costs, which is determined with the agreed upon power options vendor rate that was agreed upon during the RFP process and program agreement. So making sure that all checks out, as well as the Smart 3.0 incentives, the recent state incentive, which is performance-based, which in this case would be claimed or received by the developer and financier and would be used to buy down the PPA rate and make it as low as can be. And then in addition to that, the federal tax credit, which can cover at least 30% of project costs, which again would be claimed by the developer and financier to buy down project costs, and using any other grant and funding opportunities to continue buying down project costs, and then also considering the estimated system production for the system. And the biggest advantage here, which I'll go over in the next slide too, but just really want to hammer it in, is that it really takes all the risk off of your plate here. All the risk is put on the developer's side of things. So the only thing you're committing to is buying the power at the PPA rate when the electricity is produced. So it really just turns a PPA project into a predictable operating expense instead of a capital investment with a lot of risk involved. So going over the differences between a PPA and ownership and things to consider which route you want to pursue when considering a solar project is that, as I said, with a PPA, the biggest advantages is taking that risk off of your plate. There's no capital expense. There's $0 down for you all, and the only thing you're committing to is buying the energy at the PPA rate that was agreed to at the contract signing. There's no operation and maintenance responsibilities. So if something happened to the system that would cause an issue, that would be all on the developer to take care of. They would go through all of the frustrating work to claim incentives and all that fun paperwork, I'm sure. And it's just overall very low risk. And although with an ownership model, you can have higher financial benefits, it's really not that much higher. And in my opinion, the risk of or the low risk of the PPA is just more attractive overall. But there are benefits with ownership as well, where you can have complete control over that asset and you can have that higher financial benefit. You just would be taking on that higher risk associated with the project all on your own rather than having the developer to manage all of that. So when you are going to procure a solar project, there are good considerations to have at the forefront of your mind. And the most crucial one right now is that timelines matter. And especially right now, because of the federal ITC credit for solar projects expiring this past summer on July 4th, the One Big Beautiful Bill essentially got rid of the solar ITC credit, which can cover 30% of project costs, but it's not too late to act. It's like a golden era of solar right now because there's two options to safe harbor. And the first being signing a contract before July 4th, 2026, which then you have 4 years to build and turn on the project. Or if you don't think you could satisfy that requirement, you could place it into service or turn on the project by the end of 2027. Coupling that with the available smart incentives right now, it's just a great time to do solar and to act now to get a solar project in Deerfield. In addition to that, team expertise in the solar area is really crucial and important because having experienced advisors just reduces the risk and avoids costly missteps when trying to get a solar project done. Solar development involves tricky engineering, utility coordination, contract negotiation, incentive compliance, and a poorly structured or failed RFP process can delay a project and jeopardize federal incentives. So a lot can go wrong if you don't have the right team to help navigate the process. And then it's also important to understand that these projects require flexibility because solar projects are affected by federal trade policy, sourcing requirements, and developers need flexibility in system design, components that are going to be used in the project, where to source the equipment from as things change feels like almost every day. And flexibility helps to manage system risk and allow for adaptation when conditions inevitably will change. And then finally, important to consider is your solar appetite and to right size the system to make sure that you're not overbuying and oversubscribing your appetite. So before committing to a system size, you want to consider your current electricity usage, planned electricity efficiency upgrades later down the line, existing solar contracts, and future electrification plans, because you don't want a solar project on the roof that later down the line won't really be necessary if you're planning on cutting back on your kilowatt hour usage. And the goal is to just align system production with actual long-term demand and your long-term goals. And now, going over what the first step would be to considering solar projects. And so, for any site that you are considering, a good site overall would just be one with minimal shading. But since rooftops are pretty popular, I'll point out a few key considerations here. Is that you want your roof to last around 20 years. So, generally, a roof that's under 10 years old, because it'd be pretty big hassle if you put up a solar project and then something happened with your roof because it's too old. You have to take the system down, fix the roof, put it back up, which is just not cost effective, and also is just a big effort. So we want to make sure that these roofs are good to host a solar project for the term. And for parking canopies, if you have a space that's at least 100 continuous spaces, this will work out great for a potential site. And after this preliminary screening of if a site could work or not, the next step after that is just getting Power Options one of your electricity bills, and then we'll take it from there, essentially.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
So we have two schools, and there was a question about whether the engineering structure of the elementary school was adequate. Is that something that would be included, maybe, that a developer would look at?
Yeah, they would definitely look at that, and they would be able to see if the engineering would be able to host a solar site on it, or host a solar project on it. They wouldn't want a system on the roof that couldn't like structurally hold it either.
Yeah, we've been kind of waiting to get somebody to do an engineering study of that, but if that could be included in this, then that would be terrific.
Yeah. So how the process works is after we have this like preliminary screening and get like electricity bill and hand it off to our vendor, in this case, it would be Select Energy. They would do everything necessary to come up with a proposal for you all at no cost. So they would be conducting site visits and checking out things like the engineering of these buildings to make sure that these sites are feasible to host solar. And this would be at no cost to you to get this proposal to see if it's feasible.
Very, oh, sorry, Lori.
Oh, I'm just waiting for the catch. Where's the catch?
There's really no catch.
Well,
No catch.
I assume that those costs are built into the what's it called, the PPA rate.
Costs, do you mean
In
like
other words, engineering costs, anything that, So
Yes.
it isn't free, it's just that we don't have to pay extra for it.
So everything that would be needed to put this solar project on top of a roof would be in baked into the PPA rate. So that would be the building cost, but the steps that would be need to be taken to see if it's feasible, is at no cost to you.
Okay.
Is there considerations for rooftop size or like other equipment being present on the roof? Thinking like rooftop, HVAC units. We want to give you a roof that's too small, but is there like a minimum?
Um, if it, I'll have Walter jump in on this, but if it looks like super cluttered, like it couldn't have, like if there's just like a lot going on the roof, it's probably not a good candidate, but there are ways around like HVAC systems and like ones here and there, I think.
Yeah, send it over, Ryan. We'll take an initial look. Usually you do need a little bit of area, contiguous area that could be developed, but we have an eye for it, and we can get to a quick yay or nay, either on our end or with Select. So when in doubt, just send it on over.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, and maybe you don't have this off the top of your head, but how much more does a PPA, the PPA rate tend to be percentage wise than the going rate of electricity for a building that you guys do a solar project on? Is it 10% more? Is it 15% more? Because the engineering costs get built into that PPA, right?
I'll hand this off to Walter to answer.
Sure. So the PPA rate is almost certainly going to be significantly less than the cost of grid delivered electricity.
Cool.
So that's
Awesome.
where your savings comes from. And as Fair mentioned, it's just a nice confluence of factors between the ITC still being good and the new Smart 3.0 program being good at the moment. So that's really the catch, is that you have to race towards signing a PPA by probably June-ish, early June, in order to safe harbor the
Okay.
ITC.
So we'd be locking in a good rate, but afterwards you guys can't guarantee that it wouldn't be, similarly priced to grid delivery, right? Because this
we
is baking in
can.
you can?
It's fixed. So
It's
the
fixed.
contract would the way we price it
Yeah,
under
the
our
20-year
program.
fixed, right?
Yep, 20-year fixed PPA. Can't obviously, cold fusion breakthrough, something
Yeah,
goes
all right,
crazy.
barring that.
But the PPA rates we're seeing right now under our program, and I think it was David who said, this is a great deal for developers. It is, and they pay for it by having to offer low pricing through our program. So the PPA rates we're seeing under our program are really good right now. I hate quoting numbers because it's going to be
Everyone's
wrong.
situation is different, yeah.
But I mean, we've seen some just PPA rates that we pass around the office and high five each other. Savings of 50% or more over grid
Awesome.
delivered. So obviously can't guarantee it in your case or any case prior to doing the exercise. But it's worth it. Especially no cost, no obligation. Like, let's see if we can hit a home run for you.
The elementary school has a lot of clear roof, facing multiple directions, but there's a lot of it. So
Beautiful.
Yeah. Any site that you would like to consider for the Power Option Solar Program, you could just send us the addresses and roof age if you're considering a rooftop, and then most recent electric bill, and we can get things started.
that'd be great.
Yes. And then I did want to go over some of the offerings for our energy sustainability and analytics team. And this is a really awesome program that we have at Power Options that does a wide range of things. But some of them listed here are data management and reporting, fleet electrification roadmaps, Energy 360 to just help understand the energy landscape out there today. And then most importantly, in your case, I think, is building decarbonization. And to go into that one a little bit deeper, so ESA offers firstly a decarbonization roadmap, which is a high-level decarb study to help our members develop a timeline and gauge costs of what it would take to decarbonize. And then we also have our Building Decarbonization as a Service program, which is a new program that's really cool, where the program will enable our members to reduce energy and carbon emissions and modernize their buildings and infrastructure and rein in unnecessary operations and maintenance resources and really take the planning part of a decarb roadmap into implementation to see those possibilities realized. In addition to that, a part of our energy sustainability and analytics team's work is helping towns both achieve and maintain green community status and pursuing climate leaders designation. So for towns that are already designated, we can assist with maintaining status, which can include quarterly and annual reporting, MEI database upkeep, and ensuring compliance so the town remains in good standing. And for climate leader work, the roadmaps are sorry, my notes are kind of scrambled right here, but for climate leaders work, we can help with applying for the funding that is needed for climate leaders and manage the process and help with the roadmaps and requirements that are necessary for climate leaders and work with you to help achieve that designation as well. So it really is a really cool part of Power Options because whatever you need, we can find a way to help you with. And I'd be happy to put you in contact with some of our the team members on ESA to start you in the right direction if that would be of interest.
Did you mention our cost to work with you?
So for our solar program, it's of no cost. For some of the for energy sustainability and analytics, there are some costs associated. It just depends on the scope of work you're wanting to achieve with ESA. There's no set price that I can think of that comes to mind right now, but our ESA team would have more information on this, and I'd be happy to set up something between you and them.
Just a point of clarity, you would have to join Power Options.
Yeah.
So there is a dues applicable to that that's based on your total annual spend. So it's on our website. It's really cheap. So I would estimate it's a $584 annual dues. And there's no compulsion that you'd have to maintain a membership for any length of time. We certainly would hope you do, that you'd find this valuable enough to want to continue to support our mission, and also that you'd find a benefit in using our other programs, but it's not required.
Mhm. And with the membership dues, you gain access to our like some of our other programs, our commodity program, EV charging program, some of the services of ESA. So it's not you're paying the membership due to just access the solar, you would access it all.
So, if we were to join and we sent you some information about a building, would your work just relate to that building, or would you give us some of these other services you're talking about for other buildings that maybe we either already have solar on, or if we become, excuse my phone, let me shut that. Or if, for instance, if we do become a climate leader, which we're hoping to do at our next annual town meeting in May, if we do that, then, we'd be using both programs. And so and I'm pretty sure any grant that we got would go towards solar on our municipal buildings. That's what we've been talking about. So if, say, we have a new library, and in order to for lots of complicated reasons, we couldn't put solar into the contract for the new addition on the library, but it's an all-electric building and we'd really like to have solar on the roof. Would you is that something that you would help us with if it wasn't part, even if it was part of the climate leader grant?
Definitely, yes. And going back to something you said in the beginning, you wouldn't have to join Power Options until you're ready to sign a contract. You could receive the proposal, and if for whatever reason you don't like it and don't want to proceed with it, you can just kind of walk out the door. But so you don't really have to, you don't have to commit to being a Power Options member until you're ready to sign a contract. And these dues can cover whatever scope of work you're wishing to complete. And this can include, it just covers Deerfield as a member in general. Like it can include any buildings that are there right now or ones that are going to be popping up in the future.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, why didn't we know about this before?
Well, you do now.
Yeah, we're not we could be better at sales and marketing, so to
No,
speak. We're a
I'm
nonprofit. We're
I'm not blaming you, I'm blaming us.
Yeah.
well,
I
that's
mean,
our job too, to be out there and make sure you do
Thank
know
you,
about it.
Ryan.
yeah, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, there you go, Ryan.
But
One detail. Did you say an energy bill or just electric bill for the solar?
Um, and like, what territory are you guys in?
Eversource.
Eversource,
Just
yeah.
your most recent Eversource bill would work.
I guess it's a kind of good question, Lori, for like the decarbonization planning. Theoretically, we'd be converting from oil, gas to electricity. So does that feed into solar potential if somewhere in the next 5, 10 years that heating source is transitioning to heat pumps?
Is this at the school specifically that you're thinking about?
I guess I'm thinking like any building. It might be the school, but I
Yeah,
don't have
the only time that would be really, really consequential would be if we were looking at a situation where your rooftop or your property could produce more kilowatt hours than you're currently using, in which case, before we signed you up for that, Fair did mention your solar appetite, and we want to make sure you're not overbuying. So in a situation where you could produce more kilowatt hours than you could immediately use, we just want to make sure before we signed that for 20 years, that we had a really solid understanding of what the plan was for that. So if you felt really good about converting to electric heat, for example, then would be comfortable with recommending doing that. But in this case, most of the time, vast majority of the time in school projects, you're not going to come close, unfortunately, to being full on appetite.
Okay.
Oh,
And then
yeah, because I was wondering about we've talked about briefly the idea of creating some kind of a community center where we would have batteries and energy storage for emergencies kind of thing. So if we were to cover all our rooftop and overproduce, we could put in some kind of a battery unit. Is that something you would even look at?
Oh yeah, that's that's a very current topic over here is how we do what we call resiliency hubs.
Yes.
So the same exact situation, and currently, I unfortunately think we're a little late for this for you, in that there's a grant opportunity out there right now, the AMP grant, that covers a large portion of the battery cost associated with that. But applications are due like I think 3 weeks. So it's just not
Yeah,
enough time to. It was a really fast timeline, so we've just been scrambling to try and get some of these stood up. But yeah, that's what people want. These batteries are really replacing traditional diesel generators. So you oversize the battery, pair it with the solar project, and you get a fair amount of resiliency, as well as using the battery for market participation. When there's not a resiliency event, we just would have to leave some in the tank to account for a resiliency event.
So you're saying we could sell it back to the grid?
Yeah, there are a few different programs, associate incentive programs for batteries. Well, they'll pay you to discharge the battery during certain times where the grid's at its peak. There's Connected Solutions, there's the Clean Peak Standard, and you could also use the battery to mitigate your just normal demand peak. as part of your electric bill.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of different ways you can monetize the
But
battery.
wait, that could be huge because the demand charges are big,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yep, that's a primary driver of battery economics is those demand charges.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, I hadn't paid
So
attention
we'll
to
look
that.
at that. Whenever we put together a solar project proposal, we look at whether we think a battery makes sense, and if it does, we'll include it.
Mhm.
But it's just that extra battery size needed for resiliency that comes at a premium currently.
Mhm.
So that would reduce your savings substantially at this point, unless you can get an AMP grant, for example, to cover it, or a climate leaders grant or something like that.
But if you don't call it resiliency, you can still just use it. Would that?
Oh, you totally could, but the problem is in order to really achieve meaningful resiliency, you'd have to oversize the battery in a way that's not optimized for the project
Yeah.
financials. So you'd have to choose a path, optimize for
Mhm.
financials or optimize for resiliency.
Mhm.
And if you optimize for resiliency, it's just it makes the financials hard.
Mhm.
But little external funding and we're golden.
Yeah. So is that the presentation? And now we're just asking questions. Were we all done, Fair?
If you guys have more questions, I'm happy to
Well,
continue.
do people have questions? I'm
I have a question.
yes, MA.
MA. However, I was busy trying to unmute and I forgot my question. I'll come back.
It'll come back as soon as we all log off.
Yeah, right.
Right. Hopefully before that.
I
You
think
can always email us too. We're here as a resource for you. So
and Ryan, you have that contact information, right? I guess. Ryan,
So I just want to clarify on the power purchase agreement. One way is to lock in the rate for 20 years. The other was to own the project.
Yes.
What do you see as the advantages and disadvantages? You mentioned liability for, problems with the system or something, but
Mm,
can you elaborate a little more on which you would recommend or what the advantages are of each?
David, they know which they recommend.
Well, I will
you
say
missed it.
that majority of our members that go through our Power Options program do end up completing PPA projects because of that, just the risk off the table, and really you're handing off the expertise to another person as well. And you are just simply committing to buying the energy at that fixed PPA rate when the energy is produced.
Yeah.
But if you like to have that direct control and oversight on project like assets as big as a solar project, then that is the benefit of having direct ownership. But then again, like if you feel well equipped to take on the risk of having that direct ownership project, then that is something that could be totally feasible.
But with the PPA, we just sit back and you guys, the developer does all the work, right? I mean, we've had this experience with our we kind of got that set up at our landfill, but it's been taking, I don't know, I don't know what stage we're at. Is it operational yet? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
been several years, so.
yes. Well, the benefit of doing it through the Power Options program is that you have us throughout the whole process where we can like keep our vendor accountable and like keep them accountable to the timelines that they process and make sure that they're realizing their promises that they've made to the member. And so you always have us there as an advocate to fight your battles if you need, and
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
great.
all that good stuff.
I see
So
hands up. I
Lily
can't
had a
resist.
question first.
Who, what?
Lily had a question.
Yeah.
Hi, my question is about the canopies. And you said you need a minimum number of, I think it was 100. Do those have to be contiguous, or if they could be like one project within a defined area but not one lot, because we don't have 100 parking spaces anywhere, thank God.
I'll hand that to Walter to chime in
Um,
on.
100 is kind of a guideline. So what we're looking for is that canopy projects are expensive. There are a couple significant expensive cost adders over rooftops. Geotechnical analysis is expensive. If we can constrain that to one defined area, it gets cheaper. Drilling footings for the canopies is really expensive, so we might want to minimize the amount of footings, and steel's really expensive. So, to the extent we can put one big continuous canopy, things look really good. Um, if we deviate from that, it starts getting just more and more expensive. So we could take a look at the site and give you a high level temperature read. Yeah, we feel good about this, or no, we don't. But you do need some scale in order to make it work.
So we do have a lot with how many Pat Martin might know, I think about
What's the
70.
address, Lily?
Oh, it's what's called the Leary lot. It's you
54
guys-
North Main Street or something like that.
Yeah,
It's right
right.
outside my apartment. I'm looking at it right now.
How's it look?
But all the
It's actually pretty sunny right now, honestly.
and the geotechnical work has all been done because it's a brand new lot with a pervious pavement, and it's
Oh.
doing all this water capture. So anyway,
Brand new EV
it-
chargers, the whole nine. Like
Yeah.
they just did it 6 months or less ago. It's
Yeah.
brand new.
yeah.
Most of that information is probably relatively still up to date, all things considered.
Yeah. I was
Not
just wondering because
seeing
that would be
this.
sweet.
Is it right north of the town commons, right by Bueno Isano?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Behind
yes.
that building.
Behind Bueno Isano. Yep.
On Google Maps, because of the updates, it might still be a dirt lot.
Oh, that's probably
Yeah, they may not have gotten any modern photos of it recently, but yeah, it's not a dirt lot anymore. It's like I want to say it's somewhere between 50 and 65 spaces, maybe.
Something like that. Close to
that might
70,
work.
maybe.
We could put that in scope. We
And
could
it's
have-
just one big strip backwards. It's not. It has no real bends or crazy geometry to it per se.
yeah, that might work.
Well,
That-
check out the street view, like where you can you
Oh.
Kind of walk around. Yeah.
And
Is it modern?
how about Frontier?
Well, I do Frontier and the elementary school, which are, the parking lots are very close, but they're not contiguous.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking Leary because all the geotechnical stuff has been done.
Well,
Um,
and
Yeah.
No, I think
ownership
you're
is-
right.
Folks,
Yeah.
Seems like a short
um,
putt, and it's a good shape.
I hate to do this. We asked Mark Rabinski to join, and
Yeah.
we need
Oh,
kind of to
sorry,
keep
Mark,
moving
for
on.
taking
Um,
up all your time.
MA, you had
Take
a
your
question?
time. Take your time. I'm fine.
No, let's let Mark talk.
Okay.
Okay, I did have one thing to follow up. If from our landfill experience, we came to understand that a lot of developer companies are LLCs formed precisely to do the development, and that they dissolve after the fact very frequently. What happens if that happens with a PPA agreement?
Yeah, so I can take that very, very quickly. So, what usually happens is, yes, they can do that. There has to be a long-term financier and owner of the project under a PPA. So typically what happens is that a development LLC can do this. The way it's structured under our program is that the development is done by the counterparty to our program agreement. So you have a big company doing that. And then in terms of the long-term ownership of the project, frequently these are packaged and sold as a portfolio to long-term investors.
Yeah.
And so the guarantee there is really it's kind of like a mortgage. Once it's developed, then the risk is out of the equation. So it's just what's the purchase price and what's the payback stream? Payback stream coming from two places, a municipality and the state, in terms of the program revenue. So very safe, very stable, money lining up around the block for these projects. Great place to park your money for 20 years. And the value, they're not going to go away because there's a payback stream there. So the adage is that the value of the project isn't in the hardware, it's in the 20-year contract with the high credit payers.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, and our landfill is not a PPA. It's a
Yeah.
third-party ownership. Nexamp pays rent and lease money and, yeah, and
Yeah.
taxes to us. We get, well, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's basically it. It's not a PPA.
Right.
Lease is good, and Nexamp's a good company. I know
Yeah,
them.
no, it took us a long time, but it wasn't anybody's fault other than the state kept changing all the rules.
I'll do that.
Where they're not done.
Mark,
Oh.
Mark, obviously excluded from all of that.
Do we have any final questions? Certainly thank you for the presentation and
Yeah,
very interesting stuff.
Yes.
I think we as the Energy Committee just have to start talking to the other people in town that have other things going and get back to you. It sounds like the sooner the better.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
definitely
we have to push the pace. If we're gonna get anything signed by June, we gotta move.
Well, that's my first question for Mark Rubinski, if he's still here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
course.
thank you guys.
Yes,
Sure.
thank
Thanks,
you
everybody.
very much.
Thank
We
you,
look
Mark. Bye.
forward to further conversation.
And I'll send you
Yeah.
the presentation, and you guys can send us any sites that you want us to consider or give like a good temperature read, as Walt said.
And can you send us the card deck of
Yeah.
the presentation thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send it to
Thank
you
you.
and Ryan.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready?
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mark, I'm going to jump ahead with a question that comes from that presentation. If we got a climate leadership approved, I mean, do we have any chance of getting it used on a solar project within a year?
Within a year?
I mean,
Um,
we have to be in business by the 2027, end of 27?
That'd be very tight.
Yeah.
If not near. I mean, I think the applications are due in June, and they take a while to be announced. So they
Mhm.
probably wouldn't be until the end of the year. You'd have to then the next application, if you could turn around that fast, I believe is in February. That it would be next to impossible.
So, David, are you asking, weighing the ownership versus the PPA?
No,
Oh.
I'm asking if we have a prayer of deadlines of getting the ITC incentives that Fair mentioned.
Well, for the solar, those are, as I understand them, those are going away. But if you were looking at another project like geothermal's staying around for the ITC.
How long do you think?
I don't have the numbers, but I don't think it was changed in the most recent bill. So we've seen a few people are still going forward with geothermal projects.
But solar I mean, the climate leader for solar is in jeopardy?
No.
Did I miss that? Oh, okay, I missed.
Yeah, no. We would still fund solar through climate leaders, but the question was about whether the ITC
Oh,
through
yeah.
is going away, and that is going away. So even though we still want to support it, you wouldn't receive those federal funds to offset it.
Oh, we would have received them anyhow. Yeah, right. We would have received them, but that's our loss, it doesn't affect the climate leader,
Nope, doesn't.
the grant or anything like that. It's separate.
And we can still get like the PPA rates calculated with and without the federal grant, and that's just a math question, right? Like, does it still pencil out without that tax credit? And then it's, I think, worth noting too that the new Smart 3.0, Mark, that gets updated like every year now, right? So come next January, there's going to be a new Smart rate that may be better, might be worse. It's going to depend on how the market's doing, how we're hitting our targets. So if if this federal tax credit results in less solar being developed, theoretically that smart incentive rate might go up, but cost of electricity needs to come down. So there's all these factors, right? So, we don't necessarily want to make decisions just on the ITC. I think it's just one among many things that we need to throw into the calculator and see, what pencils out.
Yeah, I think anytime you're dealing with energy, the future is anyone's best guess. But we're here to support whatever projects you wanna look at.
Well,
Just whether or not they
I-
pencil out for you.
I see MA's hand up, and MA is the one who invited you, Mark, so I'm gonna ask her to go ahead.
I want to know sort of what format you'd like for this. Do you want us to just fire questions at you randomly? Do you want to talk to us first? How are you thinking about going about this?
I don't know. I think whatever works, whatever you think would work best for you. I'm fine with questions. As many of you know, Chris Mason retired last week, and I'm the deputy director of the Green Communities program. But before I was deputy director, I was the Western Regional Coordinator, so I'm very familiar with Western
Some of
Mass.
us have been around for that long.
Yeah, I live in Amherst. I'm not too far from you, so I'm happy to step in. I'm a little rusty when it comes to being a regional coordinator, but I'm hoping to fill those shoes until we can get somebody on full time. But I can answer
There's a
questions.
hiring freeze, right?
There is, there's a possibility we might be able to bring somebody on internal. I'm not really sure, but please reach out to me if you have questions.
So my questions are related to the future. And I'm sort of jumping into what the legislature and the DPU are trying to do. The legislature, I just read this morning, is putting that quote unquote wonderful energy bill forward, which we sort of, well, they just put something up to be voted on Thursday. They put it up today. And so there's obviously very little time, which I'm sure, being a skeptic, is on purpose with the leadership. They don't want input from their constituents that just messes things up. So, and you don't have to smile or anything about on this, Mark, because
I haven't looked at it. There's not much for me to say. I wouldn't be able to comment on that.
Well, it's only $1 billion cut for Mass Save, which has already been cut, before. So it's basically to dump the Mass Save program. And I sent it out to the Energy Committee this morning. I don't know whether people have had a chance to see it, but and I haven't seen any comments from any of the organizations which fought this bill when they tried to sneak it through before. But it does, and I just read a quick article on it. So, but cuts to Mass Save are just make me furious. And $1 billion cut to Mass Save, I don't know whether Mass Save even continues after that. I don't know. So that's one thing. And then DPU is trying to mess with the net metering rates and go the way of California and one of the Midwest states, Michigan or someplace, where they've totally cut net metering and shut down a lot of solar development. Do you know anything about either of those two things?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I can answer questions about green communities.
No, I just thought maybe
climate leaders,
might have been hearing scuttlebutt in the office.
No.
Okay.
I've been sick for the past week too, so I haven't even been going into the office.
Okay.
Been working from home.
So I just
wouldn't
throw those out.
comment on those.
There's nothing we can do about those. We'll talk about them later.
David had put on the agenda climate leader criteria, costs and benefits. I totally all in about all the aspects of Climate Leader. I don't have any questions about them at all. But Mark, if you had been at our last town meeting, people just drummed up these ghosts out of nowhere about what these different, well, especially about the specialized stretch code, what that would mean, but even crazy ideas about, I drive an EV, what it would mean. You couldn't go here or there, blah, blah, all this stuff. And so I'm just going to put this out there. If we can get some PPAs on some buildings like they did at Mohawk High School, I don't know. I'm not sure it's worth a headache to. I think getting solar on the roof. Obviously, if we get a grant to pay it all. So that I'm just kind of can we? So I guess I'm asking, if we were to push through and somehow get qualified, do you think the solar grant money would still be around because it would be a couple of years before we got certified and got the proposals and everything?
We don't have any. I think we had put in, can't remember the exact amount, about 50 or so million dollars in here towards climate leaders. We only have, I believe, between 20 and 30 climate leaders right now. But the actual the money, we're looking at other ways for people that are communities that might be becoming climate leaders. We're looking at other ways to fund those projects too. So there might not be right now, but going forward, we're hoping to find a way for it.
Okay. So you're saying that the funding is kind of questionable right now for projects?
No, I'm not saying that either.
Okay.
I mean, we have a set amount of money that we're trying to go through. I don't know when Deerfield is going to become a climate leader. I don't know what year that's going to happen, but Green Communities money has been around for probably, since 2009. And if somebody asked me if Green Communities money was going to be there in a few years, I'd be like, I can only talk about what's going to be there right now. I can't talk about what's going to be
Right.
there
Yeah.
in 2 years.
Yeah.
So I can only say this is what's there right now.
I guess a specific thing, maybe somebody, I've kind of lost.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt.
Okay.
You're talking and you're not raising your hand. Other people are. It would be really nice if
Oh,
we
I'm
did
sorry.
this
I didn't see
order.
Ryan.
Ryan's hand has been
I
up.
didn't
for quite
see
a while.
Ryan. Okay. Thanks, Emily. Go ahead, Ryan.
Problem.
Sorry.
Mark, I know we talked a little bit a while back about the climate leader program and kind of the challenge we had in Deerfield at the last town meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We, voted on 3 articles for the stretch code, the ZEV first policy, and the decarbonization commitment, and only the decarbonization commitment article had passed. And I think part of the challenge we have with the process is getting that stretch code passed with. It sounds like a challenge across the board. So I think you're asking about the solar grant funding, so that's really a big attractive part of pushing for the climate leader status.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess where I'm going with this is that the decarbonization planning funds are helpful as well. So I forget how much that was for, but it's to help create that high level roadmap. It sounds like something Power Options could also assist with. At least gives like direction on what needs to be done and when and how much it's going to cost, at least high level estimates. But it sounded like one of the criteria for that funding was to commit to becoming a climate leader or commit to adopt, I forget the exact language. It was a pretty strong language to say, like, we will become a climate leader, we will adopt the stretch code within the year. But it's really not like up to us, right? It's like up to whoever shows up at town meeting. So it's sort of like the benefits of the climate leaders program are flowing to like the town as a community and the municipal buildings, but the hurdle to get there is on individual impacts or individual perceptions encountering the stretch code, right? So
Mhm.
like we adopt the stretch code to individual developers that are subject to that. They get the benefits of clean energy and efficient building standards, right? But they're not seeing the benefit of like the climate leader funding. So I'm just like throwing this out as like the maelstrom of like things we're grappling with, and um yeah, just for consideration.
Yeah, you've already adopted the stretch code. The question is the specialized.
Right.
Start with specialized, yes.
So I think, one of the, if we're green communities, you mentioned the decarbonization funds. If you're looking to do the decarbonization roadmap, we want to make sure that the ones that we're funding right now are for communities that are eventually can become climate leaders, because we're trying to support them through that process. So it is a little bit of a I don't know, chicken and egg, horse cart before the horse kind of thing, or of well, are we going to become a climate leader? You don't know yet either, because as you mentioned, it's up to the town vote. But we just want to, if we're going to be funding these studies through the consultants, it's a good amount of money to develop these plans. So we want to make sure that the communities are moving forward with that. And the money doesn't go towards the town for the decarbonization roadmaps. We fund the vendor directly to do those.
Oh, okay.
It does disadvantage, sorry, Lori, go ahead, after I yelled at you.
Hey, Lori.
Well,
I was just gonna comment
short.
quickly. Yes.
This is
But I
short.
did-
I mean, since
One quick,
oh, you want to go first? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it disadvantages town meeting towns. If you have a city council and then the city council says, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then you get the roadmap grant, but if it depends on having to get it passed in town meeting, it's a real disadvantage for us.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
all
fair
I'm
point.
saying.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I was just going to briefly say that, how far along, because I don't remember, but we brought it to a town meeting and the vote was close, right? 20, I can't remember.
30
Not
votes.
all that close.
30 votes? Okay, but
220 to 170, something like that. So 50 votes.
okay. But so we took that first step. How far along? I mean, do we just say that we've got, have it on the warrant for, I don't know, we haven't talked about this again, next fall? Would that be enough of a commitment, or?
Yeah, I don't have a direct answer for that. I think it's just an assessment of like, is this community ready right now to become a climate leader, and looking at how many applications have we received for decarbonization assistance? What's the bandwidth of our vendors to be doing this, and just evaluating it based on that.
So it's we could keep moving along and submit a proposal to be considered.
Yeah, you could certainly submit a proposal to be considered. Yep.
I think
I-
we submitted 2 already.
Yeah. I just want to ask for your advice on getting this past town.
Mhm.
I can tell you that in our experience, as Ryan said, there was balking at the public gain and private loss aspect of the grant itself, but also balking at the EV commitment, the commitment to decarbonize by 2050. And I don't think we even mentioned that it's a 90% grant. That you brought that up at the meeting.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So your advice, Mark.
Yeah, I think I'd have to know. Every town's different, and all of their concerns are different too. And we want the town to be on board with this too, with adopting the stretch code. I wasn't there at the meeting. I don't know exactly what all of the concerns were. We've heard all of, I feel, I don't think I'm going to hear anything new necessarily that's going to come up. We have an FAQ out there to answer a lot of these questions, and we're constantly adding to it as well. So it depends on it depends on the town. It depends on the concerns. Some of the things that we've done in the past were to have additional meetings ahead of time to kind of assuage some of those and answer some of those concerns through technical meetings. Not everybody shows up to those. You know, it's easy to say, yeah, come to another meeting before we ask you to go to a town meeting, but that can be difficult. So just trying to address all of the any kind of misinformation out there.
Ryan?
One thing I wanted to double check on, I don't know if this is a Mark question or a like town staff question, but there was the zero emission first vehicle policy that was struck down at town meeting. But my understanding is that that doesn't need town meeting approval. That's just something the town could adopt as an administrative policy. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So because that was voted down, does that now preclude the town from doing that anyway? Like, what is the...
You want me to answer that?
Sure.
Sure,
We don't, the select board would have to do it. And we will be bringing it up to the select board in a couple of weeks, month, something like that, before it has to become a citizen petition. But very likely they won't support either. But we're going to make them say that. But you know, there's one select board member who supports, and two that for different reasons and similar reasons won't support it.
Yeah,
I'm
okay. So
guessing.
it's just a different strategy, different story to pass that versus the stretch code, the specialized stretch code, sorry, which requires more convincing of more people. And I guess as we're getting at, Mark, with like the technical meetings, try and get those folks that have concerns to attend the more technical, informative kind of sessions.
So what were some of the concerns with the zero emission vehicle first policy?
There were
all across the board. I mean, the one that stood out for me was someone saying, "Oh, you can't drive to Boston and back in an electric vehicle," putting aside the fact that the policy was for town fleet. No one in the town fleet is driving to Boston, at least not on a regular basis. And there are fast chargers now between now and there, so it is doable if need be. But it was sort of like not relevant. So that was
No, it wasn't rational. They were saying you'd get stuck in a field somewhere between here and the Quabbin, and you wouldn't be able to get back. Like, people are going to do it blindly without learning how an EV works. Yeah, it wasn't rational.
It was really irrational. And the advocates did not do we thought we did a really good job of educating people. We did not.
Well, another aspect of what happened was people went to the DOER site, a person in particular, and saw must purchase an EV vehicle first, and didn't continue the sentence to what is also at the DOER site. The end of the sentence is where practicable. And so they took it as a must, not or shall or must, and like it locks you in to only buying an EV, when in fact, if an EV isn't going to do the job, our interpretation has been that you don't have to buy the EV if it can't do the job. And I would like your clarification on that.
Yeah, I mean if it's not practicable, if it doesn't meet the operational needs of the department, then the department can say this doesn't meet our needs for the intended function. Like the range or the specialized equipment needs. And then that's they don't have to follow the policy based on that.
Until it's replaced again the next time, and then you look at it again.
You review it again. Yep.
You review it again, but it's for new purchases. And if
And then
if the
you'd have to
vehicle, go ahead.
you'd have to buy then it kind of goes down. So they want you to buy a battery electric vehicle. If that one's not available, let's look at a plug-in hybrid. That's not available, hybrid. And if that doesn't meet the needs, again, when I say available, I really mean meet the needs. Then you'd move to a traditional vehicle, and then that traditional vehicle has to be the most fuel efficient model available in the class.
And that's the same as the Green Communities commitment we already have.
The fuel efficient vehicle policy is a little bit different than the zero emission vehicle policy,
Yeah.
because it doesn't say that we want you to buy a battery electric vehicle first. All it does is say that it has to meet these miles per gallon standards, which is written in the fuel efficient vehicle policy.
One other thing that came up actually with the finance committee, there was a bit of that criteria that said when you're trading a car, or you can't just pass one down from one position to another.
Yeah, that's correct in the fuel efficient vehicle policy too. You can't pass it from one department to another unless it already meets the fuel efficient vehicle policy, or if the vehicle it's replacing has worse miles, like a worse MPG than what it's being replaced by.
Wait a minute. That sounded like a loophole for us. If the one it's replacing is what?
So it's not really a loophole. It's if you're moving one vehicle from one department to another, the department that it's going to, you're allowed to do that. One, if it meets the fuel efficient vehicle policy already, then that's fine. You can do that. But two, if the vehicle that it's replacing, and I haven't looked at the zero emission vehicle policy for vehicle recycling, but I'm only talking about the fuel efficient vehicle policy. The
I'm
vehicle
pretty sure it's the same.
Gets worse miles per gallon, then that's okay. I'm
So
curious
if the one you're swapping down is replacing one that's less efficient, that's okay.
Correct. Yep, that's the way the vehicle recycling policy works.
There. Well, that kind of is an answer to what the complaint was.
I'm curious how many administrative vehicles Deerfield has, because this is only for, not just administrative, but vehicles under 8,500 pounds are really what it would affect.
If you're not talking about like the high school, which is a regional school, which we don't have decision making over, and also the other organizations that we are part of, EMT and Senior Center. There's very few. I think the elementary school has a total beater minibus that sits in the back of the, that's definitely not fuel efficient, but our school buses are all privately owned. And
but those are all over 8,500 pounds too, which
the DPW has maybe two, and the police have I think most of their stuff at this point is exempt. They've got hybrids, but not plug-in hybrids at this point. And they've been replaced.
The police vehicles would still have to go with the policy unless they feel that doesn't fit it.
Right.
Again, like the department needs aren't met by it. If they're running these vehicles 24/7 and there's no fast charger that they can stop at, and then they could probably make the case that this electric vehicle wouldn't meet their needs right now.
We're not getting resistance necessarily from from the town. We're getting resistance from a group of people who are opposed to regulations,
Mm,
one way or another.
mhm.
Yeah, I
Right.
think I think we don't need to spend your time on this, but just briefly, if we can really identify which vehicles we're talking about and working with the select board is probably the better option. But
Well, part of the zero emission vehicle policy is like looking at the vehicles that you have and making a plan of how you would replace those going forward.
Is it,
I know you probably have some F-150s maybe out there too, which are under 8,500 pounds. But I know the F-150 has been discontinued too. So, you obviously wouldn't need to buy a vehicle for that. And another vehicle, you'd have to decide if it actually meets your departmental needs.
Ryan?
Yeah, not to change the topic, Mark, and sorry, I no longer read the DOER press releases, so I'm a little bit out of the loop of other things that are going on. But I'm wondering if you could share some of the projects that Climate Leader grants are funding, if you have like new or interesting projects that have been unlocked thanks to Climate Leaders that weren't funded by previous Green Communities grants. It just could be good storytelling.
So we've only funded 4 so far through the accelerator grant. I'd have to pull them up too, even though I've been writing the contracts for them. I can do some off the top of my head. Some of them are geothermal projects, which are usually a little bit, depending on the size of the building, can be a little bit more expensive, so they might not necessarily fit within Green Communities. They might have a little bit longer of a payback, that type of thing. There is one solar project in Ashfield that's being funded. So Ashfield, the town of Ashfield's using it for
I
solar.
have all their data, yeah, from them,
Yep.
which I can pass on to folks if you want it.
And some of the other ones, I think another one was an air source heat, like a very large air source heat pump project at a town hall. And I think the other one was a solar and air source heat pump project. But I'm going off the top of my head. I can't remember them visually. The sinuses are getting to me too.
Oh dear.
You probably heard me sniffling. I'm sorry. I'm not thinking real clearly right now too.
I have a detailed question though. You said there was a FAQ I'm looking at the Climate Leaders page. Can you just direct me to it? So I wanted to put a link to it.
So there's an FAQ on the stretch code, if that's that's the one that the stretch and specialized stretch code.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could send me a link or something. I'm on the Climate Leaders Communities page and I don't see it. So.
You might see it on actually, I'll just send you a link.
Okay.
It's on the stretch code page. We have a different codes page.
Mark, I don't mean to interrupt anybody. I don't see hands up. Mark, I had just a general
I think he's working
observation
on the,
is,
No, I can do both. I can
yeah, while
I'm
you're
trying to figure out how
looking,
to send a chat or anything in here. But go
while
ahead.
you're
Sorry.
looking, I just have a sense that a lot of people think that everything we're doing is adding to their utility bill. I mean, there's clearly pushback on the cost of building a house from the specialized stretch code misinformation, but also I think people are thinking that whatever we do is why their utility rates are going up. That the transition toward electric is doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I can't dive into the nitty-gritty on that, but what I can say is that we are trying to create an affordable, just transition I'm gonna just probably say what DOER's mission statement now, clean and affordable and just and equitable transition to a future where we have renewable energy, where we have electrification. Electrification really is part of our path towards utilizing the renewable energy that we're working so hard to install. And this is part of the process. This is part of the process is investing in new technologies so that we can reduce emissions, so that we can reduce our reliance on fossil fuels too.
One of the other questions that did show up at the town meeting was, and Bruce might be able to direct this as well, answer this as well as anybody else, and that is that the grid can't possibly keep up with the electrification that's happening, and it's all going to fail. Bruce works for the ISO.
Okay. Did you answer that, Bruce? Did you answer that?
I mean, I can to a degree. I can assure you that the grid is not going to fail, especially in the Northeast. We have we pay a high price for reliability. We love reliability in the Northeast, probably more than other ISOs. But also, one of the major reasons for the quote unquote failing infrastructure is that's kind of Eversource and National Grid's bread and butter. That's where they make money. So they're trying to leave that infrastructure online as long as possible to draw out as much profit as they can. But they're also, that's where they make the money. They're allowed a 10% on the top of the utilities that they put on poles, and they find other creative ways to charge us as well. But the reality of the matter is, that supply side of your bill is, that's ISO. That's actually what you paid for in terms of I bought whatever source, my energy is provided from. Electrification is important because it's a more efficient use of that energy. It's more efficient to turn natural gas into electricity and use electricity because when you're using electricity at home and not using natural gas at home, you have one fuel. You have one fuel that we can find ways to create as opposed to just burning hydrocarbons. Another thing that raises our fuel costs is we're heavily reliant on natural gas. That's something we heard during that town meeting was somebody citing the ISO saying 60-ish% of our energy production is natural gas. That's true, and it's a huge constraint. We're probably at the end of the pipeline, so we pay a premium. And also, it is a split market in the sense that residential has priority over natural gas. So we have two major competitors driving prices up in that market. So yeah, is the grid going to fail? Not necessarily because of EVs or because you have a mini split at home. It's more likely to fail if we put on gigawatts of data centers without bringing up our infrastructure to support that. But that's more likely the point of failure than just electrifying your home or electrifying your cars.
Okay.
We're at DOER, they're working really hard on grid modernization and looking at plans for the future, and they're working really closely with the utilities to plan for that. We have a grid modernization advisory council that's looking at how to what the grid's gonna look like in the future. And then we're working with the investor-owned utilities, the EDCs, on electric sector modernization plans too. So there are plans for these. And the codes are important part of that too. Like the stretch code is an important part because the buildings that we're building right now, we want them to use less energy going forward, not more energy. We don't want them to be leaky buildings that are going to be more of a burden on our infrastructure. We want them to be less of a burden, and that's really what the codes are looking at too. Is they focus so much on the building envelope, making sure that it's gonna require less energy to heat and cool those buildings.
That's a good answer. Any other stuff? Can we let Mark go or?
Not unless Mark has some magic bullet he wants to give us at the very end of his
Yeah,
comment.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't, not today. Just-
Well, I hope you feel better.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll get you back when you can breathe better.
And please continue to email me with questions that you have. Sometimes I don't have all the information available right at my fingertips when I talk in meetings like these, but if you can email me some of those questions, I can find them a lot easier or speak with other colleagues about them.
Were you able to find that FAQ that you were thinking of?
Yeah, I just don't know how to send it to you. So, but I have your email, Lori, so I'll just send you an email.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate that.
Okay, Mark, I guess we're just gonna go on with a few other things. I don't have a ton of, and we want to get out of here too. But if you want to take off, you can, or you can stick around and listen to us talk about green communities.
I recommend you go to sleep.
Get some soup, whatever.
Yeah, get some soup and go to sleep.
All right, thanks. Have a good night, and
Yeah,
please
you too.
don't be a stranger. Okay,
Thank
bye.
you, Mark.
Thank you,
We
Mark.
will be
Thank
in
you for
touch.
coming.
Yeah,
Really appreciate it. Okay, everybody. Mostly just green community stuff. The filing went in on the last grant. So reporting has been done. I assume we're ready, poised and ready with Ted Harvey to submit a grant for the spring round whenever that happens to be. We're asking for building management system stuff again. Any thoughts on, I did reach out to some other towns and mostly they sound busy on other projects right at the moment.
Do we need to check in with Ted Harvey or?
Yeah, we probably should, but I think oh, that would be me. Yes, we should. Love the
Royal.
nose touch.
I mean, you started I think it's nice to have a continuity. I mean.
Yeah.
Me too, Lori.
I can check in with Ted.
David will check in with, okay.
Oh, now I'm on record.
Yes, you're on record.
Well, okay. Yes, I'll definitely do that.
He sounded like he was ready to go, but we just need to be a squeaky wheel is my thought.
And yeah, and there, he had it all prepared to go last time, but there may be some touch-ups that need to get considered, or even things to add to it.
All that Mass Save stuff, do we have to try and get the incentives ahead of time before?
That was the beautiful catch-22. They couldn't tell us until we had a grant, and we couldn't get the grant till they told us. So last time we didn't tell, and we got the grant, and then we got the Mass Save. So I'm hoping that'll work. Close enough. Where do we go from here?
I'm not going to report because it's late on the CCI meeting.
There you go.
I'll try and do that later. It was pretty good. One thing I would say on the 10% match that we have to come up with.
Yep.
We won't know until we receive a grant, we won't know how much that is, obviously, because what's 10% of some imaginary number? What Ashfield did was, because I reached out to Alex Osterman, and she said they just they got a $80-some thousand grant, and they put that $8,000 in the budget in the annual. It just put it into the annual budget at their next town meeting because it takes that long to get. So
80,000 or 800,000?
Their grant was for 800,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they needed
80,000. Yeah, she was off by a zero.
Yeah, I was off by a zero.
Is that new?
No.
Oh, okay.
Or at least she didn't seem to think it was, but
Oh, okay.
it was new to me. I'd never heard it
Yeah,
till
it
then.
was new to me. I was getting
And
all
that
the
could be
answers
my
I didn't
fault.
want.
Maybe somehow I missed it in communications or whatever, but it doesn't affect anything till after we receive the grant. So
Mm.
we've got to proceed exactly as we are.
And yeah, 10%, I mean, it would be really hard not to sell that, but.
Right. And
Mm.
I mean, my inclination is, I mean, if somebody asks us about it, I'm not going to lie, but we haven't, and we can't say that we get, that it's free money. I mean, we got to change our language that way.
Right, yeah.
But I think we certainly don't want to highlight it, to tell you the truth, because there's lots of people in town who will say, oh, that's a great reason not to do this.
Mhm.
And so we have to continue. I mean, as I said, I'm not about to lie, but I'm not going to also bring it up particularly. We're preparing the the climate leader group, which is probably 10 people that are active in that actual planning. And then we also have created, which I think I told you about, a class of elite messengers who are going to be, we're going to be feeding information to them, and they are going to be taking that information and delivering it to their people on their email lists and everywhere else, saying the most important thing you can do is come to town meeting and vote yes. And so we're going to try and get as much information out to as many people as we can before town meeting, because we're pretty sure that nobody changes their mind at town meeting.
Yeah.
And if they come in with their mind made and then they leave just confused.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to, get as much information out to as many people as possible. Yes.
I just want to go back to the 10% thing.
Okay.
Just an answer when it comes up, which it will, would be 1 year of the money we save on energy.
Right. It'll get paid for that year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are investments that we need to be making to improve the, comfort, usability, and efficiency of our buildings anyway.
Mhm.
And we can talk about the benefits of solar and reducing reliance on the grid and that kind of thing. But it's not like we're just throwing money away, right? It's investments to improve the community.
And
so Emma, you're saying it's about
Well,
numbers.
I'm just saying that we are in the process right now of putting together the information that we're going to be sending to the messengers. Anybody here who wants to sign up to be a messenger because they have a great email, no, they have an email list with a few people on it, even whatever. That what we'll be sending out to you is educational information for you. And then also secondarily, there's a group that are taking that information and boiling it down so that the information you send out to the people on your list is much easier to digest. In other words, we're trying to educate you as a messenger so that you can answer questions or send them to us, but you will be able to send out information to your email lists that is going to be for first time readers, so that it's much easier to digest.
MA, are you thinking about going to what month is it? It's Springtown meeting? Are we going for this?
We're going to Springtown meeting, absolutely.
Okay.
We've got 2 things we have to get
Has
past.
it been a whole year since we got?
Oh, we did it in the fall.
October.
Oh, it was October. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're going to Springtown meeting.
And do we need to do, how many signatures do we need to do?
10.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, good. So that's where we are in the round. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not gonna
so
put
that isn't such a big deal, the citizens petition. It would be really nice if, I mean, I think we'll be facing a table up front of when we go to town meeting that where the finance committee may or may not support it this time around. And the select board probably won't support it. So we're facing that group,
Again,
all of us, and we have to get people there, in my mind, we have to get people there who understand that and are still willing to vote because they understand that it's really beneficial to the town.
and the world, yes, but the town, yeah. Um,
So that's basically my report on the climate leader stuff.
well, that's pretty good.
We are organized.
Any other things we should be talking about right now?
It's not a huge thing. I don't know if people got a chance to look at those three forest protection bills. I signed on, can't remember. Yeah, there was an option to send something to your representative, and we don't have one right now because Natalie Blaze's seat is empty, but there was an option to sign in favor as a committee, and I didn't know if people got a chance to look at it.
I didn't
Sorry.
really, I mean, I
I'm in
did
South
open it, but I
Carolina,
didn't.
walking on the beach right now, so
Oh, wow.
A beach with windows.
I'm not,
At this moment, she's not. It's a nice moment. Well, that sounds great. Okay, well, yeah, I just talked about making the amount of land that's permanently protected, that's already state land, a lot higher. So that would be my only other items. I see that you have indoor storms on here, and I think maybe next year when I retire, it'll
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, that can wait.
But
well, wait a minute, hold on that. If it's to protect for current forest land that the state owns,
yeah,
is there any, I mean, should we direct David to send a letter? We could take a quick vote on that if people think they want to do that. I don't need
Well, that's what
credit.
I'm not entirely sure of, but
Well,
it does sound like a good idea, but sometimes is it about not doing anything on those lands or forest management or?
I don't know that exactly, but it's I think it's just setting aside a proportion as reserves. And they're like there's three bills. One of them is for what do they call them? Not forests, but wildlife refuge management areas, to just put some permanent protection on it.
Well, that does sound good.
So I don't have all the detail about.
can we leave the decision up to David? I mean, in other words, instruct him to do it, and if he is uncomfortable with it,
Then he will.
we'll postpone it.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion
Okay.
because I want to go have dinner.
Yeah.
I move that we instruct David to review these three proposals for forest protection. And if he deems them appropriate, for us to send a letter to whoever needs to be sent to, and Lori's going to give him all the information she needs if she
Okay.
hasn't already.
I sent it out already. It's just signing as a committee. You don't have to actually write a letter.
So that's a motion, and I'd love to have a second.
I'll second.
And the vote?
Aye.
I see unanimous. Okay. And I will,
That way we don't have to wait a month.
yeah.
Yeah.
When are they happening? When is this bill coming up for a vote?
You have to ask me that.
Well, it's probably on what you sent.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it is.
Okay. And okay, so it's just to sign as a committee for the committee.
Yeah, it just says you're associated with an organization,
Yeah.
and I didn't, put us since I hadn't gotten approval to do that.
Yeah. Rightly so. Okay, there's that. Anything else? So MA can go eat, and me too.
Next meeting,
Next meeting. Oh, yeah. All these little details. How about,
Because we're getting close to the annual town meeting, I'd
19th
say
or
that
20th?
we,
I mean, wait a minute, 19th or 26th
um,
of March?
I was just saying that I think we ought to meet.
MA, I'm not hearing you.
Oh,
I don't see mute.
what did I do?
I hear you, MA.
I hear MA.
Oh, there we go.
Item.
I am hearing you.
Okay.
okay. I think that we ought to compress the next couple of meetings a little bit because of coming up on town meeting in May
Mm.
and just seeing, and also if there's anything that our committee wants to do about the climate leader stuff, we have to do it before it's decided it's going to be a citizen petition, which will probably happen in the next 3 weeks. So I would say let's compress at least the next meeting, because then once it's a citizen's petition, we're sort of out of the loop. So I don't know. if there's
What do
anything.
you mean by compress? Get have
Do
it soon?
do it less than a month,
Uh-huh.
like in 3 weeks.
Like the 12th?
I'm looking.
that's just 2 weeks. And that's you like the Thursday, David?
Yeah, I like Thursday. I can live with any other day. Why do you like Tuesdays?
Well, I just have to be in Greenfield for 6 o'clock. So I would just have to
On
finish.
Thursday.
We can also cancel it if there's nothing that needs to happen. I mean, if it's not urgent or something, but at least if we set it up.
I do want to say something before we adjourn, but we can.
Well, let's finish this.
Okay. So
I would say the week of the 16th would probably be good.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do the 19th. I just have to skip out at like 20 of. So.
All right.
I will be on a flight the 19th from 3 to 5.
Well, how about the 16th or the
Monday?
17th? I mean,
17th.
I'm actually
Tuesday.
going to be gone that week, so I don't know. I can skip that meeting if everyone else can attend.
we need you. When would you be back?
I'll be back the evening of the 19th. I'm basically gone from the evening of the 13th through the evening of the 19th.
Well, do you want to do it the 12th? Do you think? Because here's what I would like to say, and that might play into this, is that I would love for one or two of us to jump on getting information to the Power Options people.
Another good point.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I'd say doing it. I'm okay with 2 weeks.
Yep. Okay.
Should we do that?
So what are the 12th?
I mean, I don't know, Ryan.
You want to just do it?
Well, I was wondering if Ryan and myself or Ryan and somebody else could just send them information. It's nothing.
Yeah, there's no binding.
Yeah, it's not binding at all. I mean, because the one place we didn't talk about is the DPW. I think that we have information on that. And I'd say if we can get real information on the elementary school, that is huge. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
That's what I would pick.
No, it wouldn't hurt to give them all though, because then they,
Yeah, they said they could look around.
Yeah.
So library, elementary schools, and DPW.
1888. I just got to say that Tim Hilge has some plan for the library.
Yes, he does. No, not for the library. I was wrong about that. It's for the 1888 building.
No, he told me the library.
Well, last time I heard him say anything, he had moved whatever that money came in from Biden.
Right, the ARPA money,
The
yeah.
ARPA money, he'd found some of that and been able to, but it's not, well, we can check, but I'm pretty sure it's not for the library.
I think I would like to have a conversation with him about, what we've learned here and let him know. It's another one of those places that, like, we're the energy committee, but people don't necessarily think of letting us know stuff that has to do with energy. So I would like to let him know that we had a presentation today and that we're thinking of giving them some preliminary information. That $580 could come from our own dues. I mean, our
Yeah.
budget, so it wouldn't impact
yeah.
on that way at all. But okay, so I don't know. Ryan, are you up for maybe you and I talking offline, and maybe you have the contacts, just sending out some. Can we get the
Yeah, she's going to send the presentation. That's what.
Oh,
Ryan's gonna get.
the electric bill?
Utility bills.
Can I get?
So 312?
I'm fine with the 12th.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
For
Okay.
Zoom?
It sounds fine to me. But I asked Ted Harvey for the electric bill for those buildings, you think?
We can coordinate on email. Probably need to get it from
Okay.
Pat or someone on staff, right?
Or
Would be both.
Bill Hilchey
Do you
he
have
doesn't mind turning in.
Insight?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Do you have
I
the Mass
I have
Insights?
I have a bunch of years from Tad, but we don't have. There's no cost information. There's no demand information.
Yeah.
They need an actual utility bill to see the breakdown
Yeah,
and
that's true.
the rate class and those like finer details.
Okay.
So we can
Pat
provide that.
can probably find that for us. She's good at that.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Are you talking to me?
Say what?
Find
Say
what?
She's petting
The-
her cat. Come on.
some energy bills from some of the buildings.
Sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
Great. There,
Well,
that's handy.
Actually, Diane Cornwell handles all of the electric bills
Oh, okay.
Okay.
for all of the town buildings these
Right.
days.
Okay.
Cornwall. And she's in town hall.
She's a DPW person, right?
Yes, she works for Matthew.
Right?
I will take on that task when we decide what buildings we want to get it.
Okay.
All right. Great.
Also, one other
I
thing-
pay the bill for the library. So if it's the library, I'll take care of that one. It's been about $3,000 in case you care.
I
Right.
knew that it was freaking everybody out. We are doing, if anybody is interested, I know Ryan probably is, and Ted Harvey, and possibly David, I don't know, but where the wastewater treatment plant solar, I can send, if you raise your hand, I can write down and send you when they're coming to do the tours.
Oh, is it tomorrow or next week?
You got copied in, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
I'm just not looking at it right now and I forgot to write it down.
The
Yeah, I
tour,
think
the tours for the DPW solar? What?
one
No.
was this morning and one
The
is next.
wastewater treatment plant,
One
Then-
was this morning. The next
Oh.
one is next Tuesday, the 3rd.
Okay, I thought it was in March, but I wasn't paying attention because I was trying to leave town.
The new one? Just a tour of the new wastewater treatment plant?
Not a tour. Northeast Solar and PV Squared are doing estimates for us.
Oh. Oh, at the new,
We don't have a new wastewater treatment plant. They're all old.
the one in South Deerfield isn't new?
Is a lot of new stuff, but it's not all a new facility.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's great that that's happening, MA.
Yes, Ryan, are you able to go?
I
Or
cannot.
David,
What
I think I can go on the way back, so, I mean,
Okay,
I'll be
good.
back on Thursday, so if it's next week, I can do it.
There you go. Great.
And if
Um,
that already happened, it happened.
Did we just
and
4 o'clock via Zoom? Is that what we decided?
4 o'clock via Zoom, 3/12.
March
Tuesday.
12th. Okay.
March 12th.
4 o'clock via Zoom. And Lori, we're going to continue using this Zoom account.
Okay. So I'll have to change the one that I had. Okay.
This is the one that has a number of, it has 620 in it instead of 911.
Okay.
Ah, so it does.
Okay, so I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
And the vote? Pat trumps us all. It's done.
Thank you for
We're
your
out of here.
patience, Pat.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Good night, all.
Thanks,
Thank
all.
you,
Good meeting.
everybody.
Thanks, folks.
Good night.
Hey, Lori, I talked to your husband, your boyfriend this morning. He said he was going to be here tonight.
And I texted him. I don't know his story.